Shalom, hello. I'm so glad you're with us. Today is Earth Day, and we're going to do a Jewish art project for Earth Day. Tikun Olam means repairing the earth, repairing the world. And so we try on Earth Day to do things to take care of our earth and appreciate the earth. So we're going to do an art project here. We're going to use recycled materials. So we have some pieces of newspaper. Let's go on ahead. I have a 9-year-old helper here and an almost 6-year-old helper here. And we're going to show you different ways you can do this project based on your age. So go on ahead, kids, and take your newspaper. And we're going to cut out a shape of a leaf. So you can go on ahead and just start cutting. Cut a shape of a leaf. Now I see that my 9-year-old helper is using a pencil to draw out the shape first. That's a great strategy to do also. You don't have to do it, but if you wanted to do it, you certainly could. You could draw a leaf with a pointed top or a rounded top, any way you want. I think I'm going to go on ahead and draw a couple others while I'm at it. And we'll cut it out. Oh, I see my 6-year-old helper is adding some lines for veins. That's a great idea. You could use that with a black Sharpie marker. We're going to add some watercolor paint to the end, so you want to make sure if you are drawing, you want to use a permanent marker and not a watercolor marker, which would run when you put the paint on it. All right. Great job. So now that we have our leaves cut out, what we're going to do is glue stick the back of our leaf. And while my helpers are still cutting out, I want to talk to you a little bit about using a glue stick. So when you're using a glue stick, it's important that you don't squeeze it so far up. You want to make sure that it's not below the lid, and I'm doing that by twisting the bottom. I don't want to twist and twist and twist. Even though that seems like a good idea, it will fall off like an ice cream cone that's been stacked too high. So I want to make sure I have just the right amount. Great. I'm going to put my lid in a spot where it won't roll off my table. I'm going to glue the back. And I'm remembering to put my glue stick on this small piece and not on the background. If I put glue all over the back, then I won't know where to stick the leaf on, where the glue is. I think after this we're going to go on a nature walk. That will be a really great idea to celebrate Earth Day. What do you think?
Sure.
All right. There's a glue stick. Okay, great. So we have our leaves glued on. If you want, you can stop there and just do painting later, or you could take a Sharpie and you could draw a stem. I'm going to have a small stem coming from my small leaves, and I'm going to let that join up with my bigger stem from my main leaf there. Great job, artists. One of the things I like to think about on Earth Day is how I can do Tikun Olam for the earth. I can recycle, like I'm using recycled newspaper here for my art materials. I can pick up some trash on a walk and make sure it gets into the recycling bin or the trash can so it doesn't litter. There's a lot of things we can do. Great. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do some writing. So I'd like my 6-year-old artist to keep going with cutting out, and you'll skip the writing, and we can work on the writing together over here. So what you can do is, if you want to do writing, you could write Earth Day. So let's write Earth Day. E-A-R-T-H, day. D-A-Y. A-Y. And if you want, you could add an exclamation mark, and I added a heart on mine, just to be a little bit extra cute. All right, and now I'm going to write Tikun Olam. I'm going to write that in English, because some of us have English as a first language. And I'm also going to write it in Hebrew, because we're trying to learn more Hebrew, or some of us might speak Hebrew as a first language. Tikun Olam. Do you need a Sharpie? There you go. Great. Okay. Fantastic. So let's move on to painting. I have a watercolor set here. So watercolors are a simple art material you can have at home. What we're going to do is dip it into some water and wet the watercolor pan. I'm going to use some green, and I'm just going to paint over my newspaper just like this. I hope you're enjoying painting along with us at home. One of the things you can do with watercolor paints is you can mix colors to make different shades. And if you do that, you just want to be washing your brush in a cup of water and then blotting it out on a newspaper before you go to a different color, because you don't want to add the green to your yellow. And what you could do either on the lid of your watercolor, or if you had a separate piece of plastic that you were working like on a paint palette, you could make a lighter shade. So I'll take a puddle of yellow, and I'm dipping my green into it, because I always want to put my stronger or darker color into my puddle of lighter color. And now I'm making a little bit of a lighter green for the leaves.
How did you put that? Like,
What's your question?
how did you like mix those two?
I put a puddle of
Yeah, but how did you put the puddle?
yellow. I dipped it in like this, and I put it onto the lid, and then I mixed it about. That's just an option for older kids. You can just use the green right from the pan, and that's perfectly okay, because we're all doing this at different abilities for different ages. I'm going to take my brown, I'm going to fill in my stem, and if you didn't do the outlining earlier, you would just paint this straight on. This is great. What a wonderful way to think about our Jewish values on Earth Day. Okay, great. So I'm going to let my artist keep working here, and you can work more at home on Tikun Olam. I hope you enjoyed our art project.